Oh boy. And then equally nerdy people. Oh no.
Well, here we go, everyone.
We got this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Critical Role, a show about critical reroll. Matt, hang on. Okay, Matt, this is where it starts now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Critical Reroll, a show about Critical Role, where nerdy voice actors play D&D. And we're not nerdy voice actors, but we play D&D, and then we're going to talk about the people that play D&D. Oh boy, they put me in control, everyone. Boy, was that a mistake. They should have known better, but they all went off to a convention, so, they don't really have a choice. I am here today with two special guests, if you want to introduce yourselves. Adam.
I'm Adam, known at Adam J. Pearson on Twitter. I'm the other geologist in the critter fandom. Well, there's probably more, but we're the two main ones. Here to talk about crazy episode that, happened.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Pup, also known as Pup Games on Twitter and Twitch. I also run the New York City Critters account. I helped organize the stuff at NYCC and stuff like that for fan meetups, and been a big fan of the show since episode 5 of Campaign 1, so it's been the long haul for me, and I'm really happy to be here. It's really exciting.
I am happy to have you guys here, and I'm happy that we could have some little fresh new voices just for one time, and boy did we pick an episode. Boy, did this episode fall on a day. This was an episode that, going into it, I'm pretty sure I thought they were all going to die. But also, one thing that I've been saying this entire podcast since season 2 started, they did finally get arrested. I knew it was going to happen. They were all going to get arrested, and they technically did. And we could talk about that later. But we kind of jump into this episode right in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. Jump right into the fire.
Yeah.
Literally.
No frying pan, just flame.
No, just flame.
Flame everywhere.
Forget the frying pan. We don't need a frying pan. Let it all burn. PG here, maybe. I don't know. So, this battle was a thing.
Yeah.
That definitely happened.
So let's talk about some of the crazier parts. First of all, the Mighty Nine, notorious, and I know that this is D&D. No plan ever goes. You can talk till you're blue in the face. You can spend one whole session making a plan. The best part, as Matt said,
done.
They have done that, and I think we've all been in games where we've talked way too long about a plan, and that's what I always love about Travis, because I'm very much the player that's just like, okay, we can have like a general idea of a plan, but the longer it takes, I'm just like, let's just do it. Let's just get in there. Let's just do it, because nothing ever goes right. And that's, as Matt said, we can talk about this a lot because we're not the players, and we can talk about their planning styles and stuff like that. But in the end, it's always D&D, and the best part about D&D is all the plans just go out the window.
You have to give them credit, though, because as much planning as they did and how plans usually go wrong, this actually went pretty okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they got what they wanted out of it.
I'd say top 3 of all both campaigns, top 3 planned and execution.
Oh, yeah.
I'd say Kevdak, this one, and Vecna were like the top 3.
No, yeah, that makes, Kevdak was a good one. Vecna was definitely thought out and executed well, and resources were used well. This one, we get right off the bat, right after initiative, Marisha and Jester just booking it out, which was part of the plan.
Yeah,
and I was like,
okay.
And go ahead.
That was for me. That was like, oh, they're running. Okay, finally, yay! Like, yes, run.
As much as We can call this a fight, but really it was a very long, elongated escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like that got me too. Is like they all stuck with it, and while it was a fight and they did combat on their turns, they all made for a general direction that wasn't, on that
Yeah,
ship.
they weren't sailing off without Caduceus again.
I just, oh boy, like
That was bad.
well, see, and I like coming into this knowing they had a history with plans on boats that don't go right. I was like, especially with fire, and we know how much gunpowder was in the.
Also, I had this thought when I was watching this episode. I think that Campaign 2 is really just a giant emulation for Grand Theft Auto. Because every time they need a new ride, they murder a bunch of people and get a new thing. They got a new cart when they murdered Lorenzo. They murdered the crew of the Mist and got a new boat. And now they've murdered Avantika and got a new boat again.
They really like this murdering thing. It's Grand Theft RPG. I like it.
I really wish you were wrong so I could be mad, but you're not.
They just
Nope.
need some baller radio music to go on now.
To flip through the radio channels.
They're just gonna have to get somebody on electric lute. And that's it.
Yeah, they just kidnap another person and make them.
Marius, give him an instrument.
Wait, they have a bard. The turtle's a bard.
Oh, he is a bard. He's got bagpipes. I completely forgot we made probably one of the best characters ever, and I think we should get more credit for making him. So we get a couple things in this fight. I do want the clutch counterspell. I always love it when a counterspell goes off because, man, counterspell as a person who's played wizards and bards, counterspell is just great when it works. Frustrating when it doesn't, especially when you can counterspell. Mm-hmm. And it's just denial is fun when you ruin someone else's time. It's not fun when it happens to you.
No.
As a wizard, when I cast a spell and gets counterspelled, no, I don't want that. But I like it when I do it. I was sad that he lost that Boulder got kind of wailed on Caleb and he lost the Wall of Flame concentration because part of me did want that ship to catch fire. Not gonna lie. I really wanted. You know what, David? Shush. Bagpipe. I'm being called out for my bagpipes, and how could I forget? Because I'm very notorious for loving bagpipes. I did want that ship to catch fire. I did want some explosions.
Yeah. It would have been. I think honestly, if the ship had caught fire and exploded in the docks, they might have all died because the Plank King killed them.
Yeah, no.
Because they would have caused massive collateral damage.
Yeah, and we know that he's a straightforward, straight shooting kind of guy.
Yeah.
Who likes to wear people's hair.
He has dealings with the archives. Why?
Oh, I mean, yeah.
We're
not there yet. So, a lot of fun things happened in this fight. What were your guys's? Adam, we'll start with you. Like, what was your big moment in this fight that really?
I think the Thunderstep hold action was really that was their keeping to the plan, and they were getting out of Dodge. Like they had to leave no matter what, and that was Ford could have done something else after Boulder came through that wall, but he was like, nope, I gotta do this now. And it was really good call.
Yeah.
As
much as Caleb was MVP, clearly, because he got the firewall up, he got the fireball off. That was amazing. The big moment for me was the Balgura. When Ford dropped that on the back of the ship. Like, first of all, that spell, okay, Ford, what the fuck is that about? But also, just kind of plopping that demon right on the back lines gave them enough of a distraction that the people that were still close to the ship could get the fuck out. Put Boulder back on the boat rather than continuing to chase after the rest that were on the ground.
Mm-hmm. No,
It was such a strategic mood and fucked up and weird. As Taliesin said, let's get weird.
I mean, anytime Taliesin says that and encourages it, you know you're in for a good game. Like I don't play warlocks, so like I don't know what they have. So watching or having forward play, it's always a surprise. I'm like, I always end up going, he did what now? And then I run to the book and I'm like, oh, I should really try playing one of these days.
Yeah, I know we're not there yet, but I was really interested when Travis was like, so do we get a short rest while we're getting arrested? And I was like, because warlocks recharge on short rest, so he all of a sudden is super powered again. And I was like, oh no. But luckily it didn't go that way.
Yeah, so Demon, I mean, that was fun. And while we're talking about surprise casters, Vera is a little bit of a underdog that we didn't really pay attention to because she threw out mass suggestion, and that's a level 6 spell, which makes her what, minimum level 11?
11, right? At least
and
11.
They're all 7, right? They're 7 now. I should know this as
Matt's
a host.
Notorious for throwing
out
yeah, high CR stuff at them.
Yeah, and like we don't know that much about Vera.
Just that Ford took her job.
Just that Ford took her job, and you know she kind of started the impetus for the wall of fire, and we really don't. We can get to this in the post-talk escape fight or talking, but like we don't know like what happened with her. We know she kind of went down, I think. We don't know if she's healed.
Matt used the word unconscious.
Okay.
He did.
Which
looking rough and unconscious, so could be bleeding out.
Oh boy! But like we know that someone went and checked on him or on her, yep. So we don't know if that got tamped down. And we don't know what happened after because they basically, you know,
got arrested.
We'll get to that.
But we can, and so we have. While all of this is happening, we also have Jester and Bo, who are basically like not in a combat, but like trying to get to the Plank King, and Bo for once, and I loved how pained Marisha's face was when she had to say, "I will wait."
She rage waited. I don't know how you do it, but she rage waited.
Like, you gotta watch like the twitches in her eyebrows as she's just like, I'm ready to deck these motherfuckers.
I know, and like I'm like, oh, is she gonna do it? Because like, what was it? Travis was egging her on, like or they're like, just kill him.
Sam.
Was it Sam? That makes sense. That makes more sense.
Yeah, that makes. More
He's on the same side of the screen.
Just murder him.
Just go, and like, I just love how she was just like, I wait, and it's like you could tell it hurt. But it worked out. Like
that's what we call growth,
right? It is. It's an example of character growth, and that's what D&D and RPGs are all about. It's like those little moments where you can grow just a little bit, even if you completely retrograde in the next session. You know, you had that moment, and maybe they build on each other. It's just as messy being an RPG PC as it is being a human being.
Yes.
What was the other things that we? So she ends up getting the attention of the Plank King, who's not a reader, but has people on his team to do that for him. Would you guys? This is a question I'll pose to you. When she's like, "Oh, I got you information," and she's like, "But you asked for it," and he was just like, "Well, yeah, like that's our one rule. Like you come here."
It was a trap.
Oh, I thought it was a trap so bad.
I was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "Oh no!" A double trap.
Yeah, it was definitely a trap initially to try and like bait something into happening as a way of kind of them as a group separate from Avantika proving to him that they're capable and they're capable of following rules. They're capable, but they're not capable of following rules is basically what he's gotten from this.
Yeah. I mean, this is their first night in this place. Their first basic day as pirates. And they just
blew up the dock.
And we're exiled.
And Caleb goes down again.
Yeah.
Yay, wizards.
Oh man, they're just so. I don't know how many times when I played a wizard, it was just like, and the boss does a thing on you for the first time in this round of battle, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm taking a knee.
Yeah.
My character takes a knee because I'm at like 2 hit points. That was just my first attack in the round. Oh, okay. And it was usually because the low initiative rolls. You're sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting for your time, and then the boss is before you, does a thing. I'm like, okay, well now I have to focus on living. So that's out. But kudos to Caleb, because while he was out, Liam mentioned as out of character that he was planning on Fireball next, and the minute he came back up, focused on the Fireball, and he had a horrible DC for not becoming comatose. It went straight into it. I love Caleb as a wizard, because I have to, because wizards. I'm always kind of like iffy on his choices, but I do love that trauma is there and that it can be triggered, and he still uses the fire spells, and I love it when Matt gets to make him trigger.
Trauma's a pretty prevailing theme with this group.
We can definitely. I know Pup really wants to get into that too.
Yeah, because that's my inner psych person going off.
So the battle kind of does eventually come. Let's see, summon demon. Bo waits. They're finally doing it. I literally have that in my notes. They're doing it. It's a plan. They're doing it. Caleb awakens and fireballs, and we get everything sort of catches up. Caleb. See, I almost did it again. We did this in the pre-talk. Caduceus. Mm-hmm. I loved Caduceus is just like going around being invisible, like getting bumped into, like just trying to be with like the guards, like nah, it's cool. I'm just over here, like. Caduceus is just fun, and I really love Taliesin the way he plays them.
Yeah.
I just it's like the Big Lebowski, just like, hey man.
Yeah, it's just like yeah. The cleric abides. Battle gets ended, and they get arrested. Knew it. I knew they could do it. Knew they could do it. I keep telling people that I'm never going to cosplay as any character from Critical Role. I'm going to cosplay as a guard and just bring a bunch of manacles so they can just
arrest all of them.
So they can just arrest every cosplayer I see.
Especially Keyleths.
Keyleths,
and
Bows.
For once though, Bo was the only one not technically arrested.
That's true. But as a group,
she kind of was.
She wasn't manacled like the others were. She was like left to do whatever the fuck.
But the other ones were manacled because Mass Suggestion was like, "Hey, you should arrest those people."
Yeah,
that's still stuck.
I was when he said Mass Suggestion, I was like, "Is he gonna do the party? Because he could have done the party, like just go walk up to the planking, like or whatever, or come into the boat, like." Yeah,
that would have been a thing. I do like that it was Avantika was like, Vera, we need some friends, and then like her next turn she cast that Mass Suggestion. So then we get to the quick and effective trial that the Plank King sort of puts on. And Adam, did you have some stuff you want to talk about in this, or do you want to wait till after the more escaping kind of stuff?
You mean about the heroes?
Yeah. Should we go over the main points?
Let's go over the main points. We'll get back to the heroes.
So we get a completely different story from Avantika to the Plank King about this whole group. That was I wasn't like, man, she really went into it, like just turned everything on them, and it was great. It was great because she's smart. She's so smart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the players were like, whoa,
yeah,
wait,
they weren't expecting
she
that.
Can't lie.
That's not cool.
You have to tell us. You're a cop. You have to tell us. Like, it was like.
Well, yeah, she was banking on the years she knows the Plank King, and that these people, I mean, literally, they deserved everything they're getting because they basically did all of the worst stuff that they could do their first night in this pirate town. Yeah, you guys.
But I think they were underestimating her cunning, and she underestimated their skill. That was the big thing, because the way that she was like, "What do you mean?" to Bo as Bo was preparing to knuckle punch the truth out of her.
Yeah, I don't think she was counting on that.
No.
I do like the little hint about the Cobalt Soul and the Plank King.
Yeah.
He's had some dealings. Well, and like, I really like the Cobalt Soul as an entity. Because we got a lot of flavor from it in the first campaign, but not a lot of, like, we didn't really know, like, what, and, like, how expansive they are. I mean, we do know that they were in Vasselheim too, and we kind of got, when they were going to search for info on Vecna and stuff like that, we kind of got a sense that, okay, there's knowledge in monks, but, like, having an actual character with Matt's Cobalt Soul monk gives us a really cool insight into, like, this amazing thing that another Mercer brain should, I mean, just crazy stuff that he comes up with.
Yes, he does. He's been.
But like the Cobalt Soul, definitely I see as a very neutral organization.
Oh yes.
Like it's like aggressively neutral.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would put it like they're dedicated to the preservation of knowledge and whatnot to an
knowledge
aggressive
and information
standpoint.
is not partial. It doesn't care if you're good or evil. It's information.
Yeah, so they'll fight to protect it no matter what. So it's almost like a lawful neutral, maybe. Like, no matter what happens, they'll keep it there. But at the same time, they're like this. They have that secret service. They're like, all right, we need these people that are just gonna go out and if we need them to, they can murder people.
Yeah, with an awesome name too, or like the extricators,
expositors.
That's right. Like it's so good. That's such a good phrase.
Yeah, I'm wondering if the Plank King, like some kind of shipwrecked artifact-y, like lost civilization, like what did he do?
I don't know.
And he's like in good state, like he's like worked with them before, like, oh man.
Tell him I said hi. Like what? Wait, what?
Like, oh yeah, the Plank King, yeah, we've done some stuff with him. Like, what?
His library card is under King, P.
Yeah, and so then we get Ford kind of playing the middleman in, like, you know, we have ways of making people talk. And I don't know if he was thinking, I don't think he was thinking of Bo. I think he was thinking of more the spell that just left my brain.
Zone of Truth.
Yes, which is
I thought they were going to summon Merle High Church for a second.
Because I think that's what he was thinking of, and then like Marisha was like, well, you know, I can do that too, and I've been waiting for this to be like used more than like once and have it be.
I've been waiting to beat the crap out of it.
Like I love that that's an ability for the Cobalt Soul monk.
Yeah.
I just love that you can just beat the truth out of someone. It's just great. And she does say that you know it will offer Knuckles, and the Plank King is all for that. He doesn't care, and I really love the, like as Pup mentioned earlier, the what from Avantika and Bo just being like whoa, before she even finishes, just whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have the questioning of Avantika from the Plank King, which was creepy. You guys, I don't know about you guys, but like when Mercer is role playing two characters against each other, like, do you ever just forget that it's him? Like, I mean,
oh yeah, it's
so easy to just he just disappears, and it's just this huge towering man. Yeah, just
everything, just
getting slowly.
Somehow it all fits to exactly what you're imagining. It's
more and more into his face. Or into Avantika's face, and she's just not saying a thing. And it's just because she doesn't have to say anything.
No.
But if she says something, it has to be the truth.
But like Liam said, silence speaks volumes.
Oh yeah. Oh, there was no way her tongue wasn't getting her out of this at all. And it was so creepy. And then we have Judgment, which I don't know why I was thinking. I'm naive sometimes. I'm pretty sure I'm just a naive, innocent person sometimes because I did not. I should have, but I didn't expect that.
I expected Avanta to try at least something at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was surprised how like over. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fast.
And I know a lot of my friends who are very sad about that.
Oh yes, there's gonna be people who are very sad about it, but like the guy is wearing the scalp of his predecessor as a hat.
It's true. See, that's why I'm like, why was I so surprised? And like the whole walkway to his throne is just heads on pikes.
Heads on pikes, yeah. No, I wasn't surprised that he killed her. I was just surprised that like it was just like doo-doo, the end. I was like,
I kind of thought there'd be like a public
or like that she was gonna cast some warlocky crap that she had in her back pocket. Like she didn't really use any spells during the battle except for the try to did the Eldritch Blast, so maybe she's mostly rogue and not a lot of warlock or something. So
which this is a good point that I meant to bring up, that everyone who's watching now, we do put a form out every week on @CriticalReRoll on Twitter for you to put in all of your crazy ideas. And this reminds me that this was a response that we did have.
Oh yeah.
Because at the end of the battle, we did have a thing that happened, and I would like to don my tinfoil hat because we know I like that. And Dyson Dishes is instantly on the same track that I am. So Camo sent us this response. Just after the battle subsided, Matt mentions Avantika runs inside the ship before she was taken to the Plant King. That probably triggered later Ford asking Bo and Not and Caleb to check for traps in her quarter. What do you think she did on the inside? Is this really the last episode of Avantika? Like, was that really Avantika that was murdered by the thing? Like, I mean, me says it probably is, because I really want Vera to be alive and okay and to be like the real secret bad that was there the whole time. Because we know she was one of Matt had described her in the previous episode as one of the people who are, following Avantika because they believe in Avantika. Yeah, I don't know what you guys, how keen you are to don tinfoil or not.
Yeah.
What did she run in there? Like, why did she run in there? It was a curious thing for Matt to say, like her running in there, like maybe she had something.
It was. In fact, I thought when she ran back on the ship, she was running towards Vera, but she didn't. She ran somewhere else. And so that was, I was like, I wonder what she's trying to get. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because he did say she ran below decks or towards her quarters or something like that.
Into the captain's quarters.
Yeah,
to me, initially, it kind of read as like a teenager storming off to her room a little bit, like she was just frustrated by the circumstances and wanted to get away. But again, that could just be my interpretation. I do think it's her that's dead, and I'm with Dusty that I think Vera's the real threat here. Miss 11th level at least, casting 6th level spells like it's nothing. Let's not forget that. And now Vera has a reason to fucking hate the Mighty Nine, because she loved Avantika on some level, and now Avantika's dead.
If she gets out of the clutches of the Plant King, if he feels that punishing a captain for their crimes is the thing to do.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. We don't know if the Plant King has Vera.
Yeah.
She wasn't mentioned. It was just Bouldergut.
Poor Bouldergut. I just want Bouldergut to be okay, you guys. I really like Bouldergut. I'm just going to say. Just want her to be okay. Please be okay, Bouldergut. If you're listening to this, Bouldergut.
We love you.
Oh boy, I tell you, they let me in charge. I don't know. Still. So Avantika neck snapped right then and there, and then basically the Plant King tells them that, you know what? This is yours. Go.
Get the fuck out.
Leave now. I am washing my hands of you. You are no longer welcome here. We're burning the colors. The minute we see this ship or any of you, you're dead. You're dead.
Yeah.
And they get away.
Yeah.
Scot-free-ish.
Yeah. If anything,
Their plan technically worked.
Yep.
Yeah. And as brutal as the Plain King is, he seems to be a man of his word.
Yeah, no, like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like, Taliesin was like, well, now you tell us we can't go, we're coming back. I mean, we're gonna come. I'm like, please don't.
Yeah.
Because Matt made that part as they're like sailing out. He goes, "You didn't really pay attention before," and then he like literally describes the defenses of the shallow entry into Darktoe, and it's just like,
I think on the way in he did say something, but they didn't really study them very
Mhm.
closely.
And then he just described the like cannons and like people, and everyone out there already like knew.
They were coming.
It's like, oh wow, this
And
place.
it took them all day to get through the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Day.
I mean, they're on a broken boat.
Yeah.
With whatever, I liked that he's like, I hope you are fine with supplies, and they're all like, oh yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, we're clerics. We got
Yeah,
this.
we got this.
Clerics can do everything.
Heck yeah.
But they're done. They're out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they missed a lot of opportunities. There could have been some fun stuff in that town, but that's D&D.
Yeah. That's D&D for sure. Yeah, I've had players that totally bypassed huge lore drops. They're just like, oh, okay, bye.
Yeah.
David in chat. I'm waiting for them to be attacked by another ship on the ocean that still thinks it's Avantika's crew in charge. Oh, I didn't even think about. They're still like they're on that big old ship that I'm sure every pirate recognizes.
Yeah, no, that
before word of Avantika's.
Yeah, I'm
there's-
expecting some shenanigans.
Oh man, what if they come back up from where they are now, and
The ship's been taken.
Oh, the other thing is, as they're escaping, the crew that they've brought on this horrible horror show, just like, and take your crew and go, and they're all like, what's happening? Because I mean, this was like the next morning, right? And they all get huddled into this thing, and then they start this battle, and they're like, what did we get ourselves? Oh god, these guys are, oh.
They're just like, don't move. Maybe if we don't move, they won't remember. We have red shirts on. Don't move too much.
Except Orly, who is basically kind of calm and with everything. Just like, meh.
It's super high, probably.
He probably was. Whatever he's smoking. Whatever that turtle boy's smoking.
He makes it through.
Actor Clown was, I think when they're done with the current arc, they will give the ship to Orly.
Possibly. Although I don't know if you want to be in charge, but that's a whole other.
Well, maybe Orly can find someone to take charge for him.
This is maybe the next arc. Maybe they're just gonna do Pirates of the Caribbean now.
Yeah, we'll see once they get the ship to work.
The shipwreck.
Better than it's working now. Yeah, so then they're out and they're on the seas and they kind of get a little rest.
Finally.
And we kind of
feels like ever since they joined Avantika's crew, they've been holding their breath, almost.
I mean, I know I have.
Like, even in character, just like, what can we say? What can we do to not arouse suspicion or someone to fucking murder us?
Well, yeah, because like they basically got in this whole situation completely on accident from a plan that they had planned before.
Yeah. They were just poking their nose into something, and then they're like, "Hey, we'll murder you unless you join us." They're like, we picked not.
Yeah. And like even when they went back to Nicodranas and they found out that the guards were really just looking for the people who killed all these people that had bounties on their heads, they could have stopped and stayed and not sailed out, but they sailed out and found Avantika and found
planners. They are not sometimes.
No, but we got the Ukatoa, and we know the Ukatoa threat. And what is going to happen with that still? Because we have Ford, who is going to turn on everyone. I know you don't agree, Pup.
Bad about my boy Ford.
You can't trust him. He's not using his own voice.
Careful with your tin hat.
We are going to talk about that, all right? Not using his own voice.
Yeah, that was a great line. That was a great scene.
Yeah, so we get a little calm role play as they figure out where they're going. I think they're looking for a place to anchor and do some repairs, but on the way there, they will come across the shipwreck that Ford is very keen on finding.
Yeah.
And so we could kind of go through this really quick because I know we want to kind of talk about some more future things and some overarching themes for this episode. We do get two good kind of RP things with the trio of Caleb, Bo, and Not.
The assholes, as they call it.
The assholes. Talking about secrets and worrying about Ford and how this is all going to go, which was nice. I do like the trio of assholes because I still don't know. Caleb tries to be part of this, but I know that he's not. I know he's got his own things, and he really wants to get back to the Empire. He wants to get off of all of this and get back to his goals that he wants.
It was very much like, okay, this was a nice respite from my overarching plan, but I'm ready to go back into it now. Mm-hmm. Like he's very much like, okay, vacation's over, let's go.
Yeah, this has been a fun cruise.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. I almost died several times.
And then we get a lovable, adorable. I love every time Laura romances her husband, and I love how uncomfortable Travis looks every single time. We get a wonderful, horribly awkward, but also like meaningful, like lore drop kind of thing with them, and her talking about like, okay, we're gonna go find this Vandrin stuff, and like, are you sad that you didn't get to learn more about Vandrin? Because it seemed like everyone in Darktow knew Vandrin.
Yeah, there's a whole thing.
And then that whole thing is like, if you find out, will you stop talking like him? And I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, man. It's just like, maybe. And they're like, well, I gotta go check on them. Yeah. I gotta go mend some stuff. I'm like, oh, it's like being in grade school again.
Yeah. Flashback to the third grader moment.
Or college. Or now.
Anytime I interact with people. That's
Yeah.
It doesn't change.
Yeah.
And then we get they do some pinging with locate objects. They find the shipwreck. We get Frumpkin a cat for maybe a couple days and then back to an octopus, but I still love the idea of Caleb going to an octopus. I mean, that was just it just look cute. I just imagine like I hope someone arts just like he's Uji and it's just like tentacles and like bleh. Yeah. He gets the scan. They do find the shipwreck. A lot of convincing, but no orb. A lot of convincing of not to even like do the breathing underwater thing. I love the buttons. Oh. Oh yeah, the buttons, the fucking buttons. Just you gotta get like how condescending was that to not as Ford's just like thinking like, oh, I could just tease you with buttons. Like she's still a grown adult goblin.
Yeah. That's a pretty common thing with Ford and not actually, and I feel like it's like, okay, I teach kids, so I know this feeling. I feel like Ford is like a frustrated, trying to be parental figure with Not, but Not is too wise or matured to be controlled like a child. So he's just like throwing things at her that he thinks will work, and she's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, I can think for myself. You don't have to do this shit. Like, back off."
Yeah, it's the classic. Small races get confused for being children to the medium-sized races.
Well, like sometimes Sam makes some like silly, like childlike things, but those are more for her kind of torturing thing than anything else.
Yeah.
But that was just like, oh, Ford. Oh yeah, the button gag. Yeah, I know that. Oh, I just love Sam. It was so Buttonbeard. Oh yeah, the famous Buttonbeard. But they get down there, they find the shipwreck. They use cannonballs I liked the fusing of a
That was very
dagger. Yeah, I like the cannonballs, the
Yeah,
fusing.
that was cool.
I like it when we get to see a little bit more transmutation. It's hard to get a lot of wizard flavor from classes out in RP sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was the 15-minute time my evocation wizard talked about the history of the evolution of evocation, but you know, that was an RP moment. They get there, they find the shipwreck, see some whales, get a little scared. I mean, underwater always freaks me out.
Can we talk about how much I love those nerds? When they all hit the bottom, they all went like,
yeah,
all of them like in sequence. They all did like the floaty.
It's just you never grow
A
up.
bunch of nerds.
You never grow up, but that's what I love about D&D. It's basically just you're a kid playing imagination again.
Yeah,
and of course,
so good.
it's so easy to just like get into it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, we're on the moon or we're underwater. Yeah. And then the whole talking with that was like, oh no, that can't last very long. Just get that out of your system now.
Yeah.
And Sam somehow did it without doing this.
That was good. I mean, they're all voice actors, so surprise.
Yeah, that's true.
But they find the shipwreck, and then that kind of is where it ends it. And let's use the last 15 minutes and probably over to talk about, because I know we have some guests, and we don't usually have this. We have some two fresh minds, and I know that they each have some things that they kind of want to talk about, and we can kind of expand on, like, what are we going to find in this watery grave? Do we think the orb is here? The folklore of this area? Are we going to see some sort of weird creatures? Like, are we going to find Vandrin? Is he going to be, like, alive down here or something? Or and is Vera going to be... okay. So, I know... Let's... I'll stop talking now as the host, and I'll let people talk. I'll just go... We'll go clockwise, or I guess counterclockwise. Adam, I know you had some overarching things you kind of wanted to talk about, and then we'll get into... Pup has some really good stuff that I'm excited to hear about, too.
Yeah, so I guess for me, this episode really, the whole campaign, and I've seen people argue about this on Twitter and other various social media platforms about like, oh, they're not heroes, they're just a bunch of jerks, and blah, 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 blah. And I felt like this was the first time that they didn't necessarily, they did it for themselves, but at the same time, they did something good. They were like, we have to choose a side, and they chose a side, and they like came together as a team and accomplished a goal very similar to how they got out of Lorenzo's Palace of Fun Times. But that was more reactionary, and this was more like, and this is still reactionary, but it was like a different kind of reaction. It was, no, it's us and them, and we're getting out of here. And it was that step towards maybe they're actually going to start being heroes. And I know Caleb's been a loner for a long time, but just using that us and them word choice, and Ford sprinting over to save Caleb, like, and maybe forgetting his accent for a second while he was doing it, which was another whole thing. Like, it's just, they're starting to be a team, and they're starting to be good guys.
Yeah.
And I like that, but I think that's what we missed in campaign 1.
Mm-hmm.
When we came in at campaign 1, they were all heroes, they were all friends, they were still a bunch of jerks sometimes, but they had done the stuff, they had seen the shit as it was, and they had come out the other side. And I think that was what may be frustrating some people about the start of this season or this campaign, is that you were seeing the stuff we missed. And that, yeah, they're a bunch of misfits. They don't know what they're doing. I mean, they were called the shits before they were Vox Machina. And so, like, now this is when they're the shits, and they haven't become Vox Machina of campaign 2. So.
And so, like, really quick, just my opinion on that is, like, this is what I liked about this season. And I know this is the contention, is some people don't like this season right now as opposed to the before. But, like, we would always get, like, little tastes of them just being in the beginning levels, just dicks in D&D goofing around, until, like, Matt sort of leads them into some story choices and gives them that impetus. And I think we started shortly kind of after the resurrection of Pike and after all that Amon stuff. And so, like, they had their moment, and then we got to see them after that solidifying moment. And I really like that idea that they're kind of starting to become that now. We've got to watch them make a bunch of silly choices and just be ridiculous, but then they start doing, I think it's sort of like that self-fulfilling kind of thing. They start messing around, and Matt sees that and gives them all these weird opportunities, and somehow the master of being a DM, you get to like
Yeah.
mold these chaos murder hobos hopefully into something that you can then use and put into an epic story where they can be heroes.
Yeah, yeah, heroes. Maybe not good guys. Maybe they will never be good guys, but they're starting to become people that will do the thing that needs to be done. They might want to get paid for it, and they might moan about it, but they're becoming the person that wants to get the job done.
Almost like a begrudging older sibling hero. Like,
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, yeah, and like the thing with heroes is like in almost every story, the heroes are a lot more messier than the lore of the heroes. I mean, look at Vox Machina. I mean, they're probably talked about nowadays in the time of the Mighty Nine as like these, crazy heroes that did this thing, but like they were fucking mess. And they were the shits, as Adam like pointed out. Like, and that's like we get to see all this goofiness, and that's what I like about this season is we get to see that it's a little more relatable as someone who's plays D&D, and like you get to be kind of ridiculous until you guys find your way.
Yeah.
And sometimes that never happens. Yeah, but with the and in this one we've already like lost people. Like we've lost Molly Mock, and that's a thing that stays with you. Ooh, this is kind of a good segue if you feel like you're wrapped up with yours into Pup has some things.
Yeah. So I really quickly wanted to tag on to that like early on into campaign 2, someone made a post on Tumblr. I don't remember their username, and I'm so sorry. But they made this beautiful, long, like multi-paragraph post. But the gist of it was that people will read the legend of Vox Machina, but they will never know the shits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like that I feel like encapsulates that whole back end of that conversation. Like, and like Dusty said, like when you're a hero, you're painted in a certain way, but no one's going to remember all your flaws, all the fallouts. I doubt any written legend of Vox Machina is going to include Scanlan leaving.
Or pooping in beds.
Yeah.
Or pooping in beds. Like, okay. Anyway, my whole thing, especially with this revelation of what happened with Vandrin, is that basically everyone in the Mighty Nine are all deeply traumatized people in one way, shape, or form. Bo with, I think it's pretty safe to assume emotional abuse from her parents, having certain expectations for her, having her hauled off to basically military school against her will because she was just a rebellious kid. Ford losing his father figure and then taking on his voice. Are you kidding me? Like when he didn't have that kind of source of comfort, he instead gave himself that comfort by imitating someone who believed in him, who took a chance on him. Jester being locked in a room for most of her life. And then there's the whole kidnapping plot, and that still hasn't been resolved. And there's so much mental health going on with the Mighty Nine. And I feel like that was lightly explored last campaign with Vax when he openly used the word depressed to talk about himself, which was solidarity, bro. I got you. Just going into the kidnapping, and especially with Caleb's backstory, going into talking about being in a mental institution. And I'll be a little personal. I was actually in one for a couple of days, and that was the worst couple of days of my life. And I can't imagine being there for years and years and losing your sense of self until some lady magically takes it all away. It's so interesting and intricate and a delicate topic, and I applaud them all for taking their own jabs at it in their own way. But particularly Caleb, and now Jester and Ford and Yasha, though it's kind of excused for Yasha that she hasn't talked about it because Ashley hasn't been here. We don't know Ashley's words on that. But with Caleb's whole deal with his childhood and going into this very gaslighty, manipulative relationship with Trent that resulted in him murdering his parents and psychologically breaking and just all of that. And then with Dickface, I can't remember his name right now, Lorenzo, there we go. Kidnapping Jester and Ford and Yasha, and Jester is deeply relatable for me because she is she's like, I'm happy, don't worry about me, I'm going to worry about you, I want to help you be happy because I'm happy all the time, nothing affects me. And I'm using her like, just open up for like 10 seconds, that's really all I need from you, Jester. Like, it's so clear and that's why I love Caleb, because he recognized that in her immediately.
Mhm.
After the wrapping up of the Lorenzo thing, and Ford was like, yeah, she seems to be taking it pretty well as she's dancing alone in a corner, and Caleb's like, I don't think so. And it's just, they need to have an honest like group conversation about all the shit that they've endured individually and as a group together, because it's just, you can't compartmentalize that forever, otherwise it's just going to tear you apart from the inside. And that's why I feel like Ford and Jester's relationship is so refreshing, because they trust each other with everything. Travis has said multiple times that Ford has never lied to Jester. And like, I feel like her having a relationship with someone that's like that, that's based on truth, it's so good. And her emotional competence, I could talk for hours. I'm so sorry, Dusty.
Yeah, you're fine.
Oh my god. It's like, Jester's emotional competence and strength, and her wisdom shows in her emotional depth, not in her actions, clearly, because she's painting dicks all the time. But it shows in how she's understanding her feelings for Ford better, and how she kind of sees in other people, and tries to help other people, just wants to make them smile.
Mhm.
Like, she knew how to help Caduceus out of that slump after that first boat fight. And just,
Well, yeah, and I think that's the wonderful thing about Laura is like she plays Jester as this very happy, jokey kind of thing, but then every once in a while she gets in there with the knife and just kind of stabs you with like a moment of wisdom and truth and insight that she has, and it's like, oh right, yeah, you're not just like a silly little, you're like they're so good at characterization of all their characters,
yeah.
and it's really exciting to see them, and I do hope that they get a chance to kind of decompress from all of this once they get out of whatever they're getting themselves into now.
Dry land.
Once they get on dry land, get some time with the boats, get some time around not crazy pirate people, and maybe they can start having this, because I mean we're coming up to it. We got to be coming up to it. This point where they get arrested, then they kind of have to figure out where they're going to go next. I mean, we don't know what kind of story hooks that Matt's gonna, but it feels like there's another one of those downtime moments where they're like, right, let's take stock of where we are and where we're going and what's going on. And you know, we may get that in more of a form of an Amon dragons coming down and
oh god, no, please.
setting a new storyline, because we don't know when Mercer's going to be like, okay, I have this new thing I'm going to drop, and he tends to like to drop it in the middle of them in a calm moment processing everything.
Yesterday there was a meetup in Manhattan with a bunch of other local critters, and one of them, Nat Rose, mentioned that there was a trio of murals that Matt portrayed before them, and the one they focused on was the one with the serpent, but one of the other ones was a purple phoenix. And who could that be an allegory for? Certainly not a purple tiefling that came back from the dead.
I like that. Oh, Sky Cypher says, "Oh my God, is that Pup Games fan?" It is Pup Games.
Guy.
So yeah, I think we've covered a lot of stuff here today. We've even got some depth, and now we get to see what's all up with this shipwreck. I would like to thank everyone. We've sort of touched on everyone that filled a comment in. I'm just going to read your guys' names. Yeah, we touched on everybody's questions. Aleph Sharp, thank you. Vera, that was he or they had a comment about, will she work her way into a position of power now if she's alive? Absolutely. I want Vera. We had a bunch from Camo, thank you. A bunch about Ford and Jester and the Plank King, and Avantika being dead or not. And we will, I think I will end kind of on Camo's fun question at the end here afterwards. But I would also like to thank Axula, AXULA, for more talk about faking Ford's fake accent. And then there is also Cass Ironheart, who talked more about the flirting with Ford and Jester, and that maybe in this shipwreck, Jester gets to save Ford in an equally romantic way. I'd like to thank Totally Not Abernathy for the question, which absent host do you miss the most? That's a trap, and I'm not going to fall for it, because I love you all equally, and I miss you all equally. Can't get me to say that. Oh, King Sundu, you got in here before I got to read this. King, what did you talk about? This is a new comment. Ford has shown in the past fear of his own powers, but as of late he's fully embraced them. Is he in danger of becoming addicted to increasing levels of power? I mean, this is good. Like we're getting into the shipwreck.
Yeah.
And willing to do what his patron wishes to obtain them. And on that note, will Lukutoa punish Ford for slaughtering one of his chosen? Well, he didn't technically slaughter. That was we did kind of have this discussion before we started the stream. That Ukutoa had picked Avantika. Like, is Ukutoa going to pick someone else? Is Ukutoa going to pick Vera? Who knows? That's the fun part about D&D.
Yeah.
Is waiting for like a couple story arcs, and then all of a sudden Matt goes, "Oh hey, remember this person?"
Yeah. That's pretty likely. Deshilla has the clothing crystal down there somewhere, and some shit's gonna happen.
Oh, I'm excited. I mean, I'm creeped out by underwater stuff, but there's so many good monsters that you don't get to see in D&D, and a lot of them are underwatery kind of things, and I'm hoping for some really cool things from Matt. I
think we're gonna get an aboleth. That's what my call is.
There was another one. Herc was talking about. I closed that tab, but it started with an M. A Murtog. I don't know.
Murtog. Yes. I threw that at my players in a one-shot recently, and it's an amazing creature.
I'm
highly intelligent.
I'm keen into it. It has tentacles and is smart and
also it has debris usually embedded.
It like collects things and stuff. Yeah.
So maybe it's like lurking in the shipwreck. Maybe that's Deshilla with her hungry eye.
I hope so. I hope we get some weird things. I'm so excited. So I think that's it. We did it in an hour, guys. A little bit over, but we didn't really start because technically I messed up a bunch of times.
No, Dusty, you were fine.
So we can end with this fun question that we got in our forums. Yes. In that, let me get back to it because I mean it's simple, but I already forgot it.
I remember what it was.
If Mighty Nine are ice cream, what flavor would they be?
Jester is cotton candy, hands down.
That's great. No, that I think.
Yeah, and I said as a whole, the whole party is Rocky Road. Yeah, the road has never been smooth.
No, that's true. I think, man, that's really hard. Rocky Road is good. I feel like they're just one of what's that like? There's a couple flavors that there's some like what they're definitely. I think they're a Ben and Jerry's crazy mix of thing.
Yeah.
It's something Ben and Jerry's, and it's got some sort of crazy name, and there's 9 ingredients, and it's them. And I would probably buy it. I was gonna say Spumoni because I just like saying the word Spumoni, John Allenson. Also, Spumoni ice cream is good. I like it. I like pistachio and I like Spumoni.
Not is one of those ice creams that has like little capsules of alcohol wrapped in chocolate frozen in them. There's like very high-end ice creams that have like little bits of like rum churned into it and stuff like that. That would be not in a nutshell. Just
I like how chat's getting into this. We got Ford is vanilla, Rocky Road, Spumoni because it's just fun to say. Oh, nice. I like that. That's so perfect.
I would have went with like something like more of like a mint tea.
Yeah, actor clown Cherry Garcia. Oh no, Matt Nicholson is Deuce's green tea for sure. Not as mint chocolate. I still am gonna say they're a pint of some weird Ben and Jerry's nine ingredient craziness.
And not normal ingredients too. Like you gotta get like chocolate covered potato chips in there.
Yeah, like weird things. Like and then like contradicting flavors that you're like, none of this is gonna be good.
But then somehow it is.
Because that's what they are. None of them are good. Oh, look at that, I stumbled into a metaphor. None of them are good, but somehow we still love them in all of their mighty nine.
No, none of them is good apart, but together they make it delicious.
They make a delicious.
Thank you for helping. We're forging this metaphor in the end. So I would like to thank everyone who came into chat. I would like to thank anyone who's listening to this later. This is Critical ReRoll. I did it. Where we talk about Critical Role, and we'll see you next episode. And I have been Dustin, or Dusty, at GeoNerd on Twitter. Adam?
I'm Adam at Adam_J_Pearson on Twitter.
And I've been Pup at Pup Games on Twitter.
And Adam and I totally didn't spend 30 minutes talking about geology before we started doing
I
this.
definitely didn't take the opportunity to go walk my dog while they were doing so.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and is it Thursday yet? We never do that, but I just did it. But Matt, don't get mad at me for stealing your thing. Thank you guys. I push this button here. Play the music. I did the thing. Oh wait, I forgot to mute us, so I'm talking over all of the music. Oh, come back everyone, I need your help!